was told that you would follow me into the cold, dark reaches of space and make believe. How could I ever have gained your trust? How could I ever have abused your touch? You should have known better, but sometimes the margin of human error is rather hard to attain. So I was told that you would follow me into the cold, dark reaches of space and make believe. How could I ever have gained your trust? How could I ever have abused your touch? You should have known better, but sometimes the margin of human error.
you, guys. Let's do a quick little round robin. Introduce yourselves and what you play.
I'm DJ. I play guitar and I sing.
My name is Nick, and I play the drums and sing a little.
Andrew, and I play the bass.
I'm Jeff, and I play the guitar and sing.
And thank you guys for being here. Real quick, is that your amp I'm hearing?
It is, yeah.
Okay. I just want to make sure there's nothing else in the background squeaking at me.
How about that?
Yeah,
How's that
okay.
work?
Cool,
That
thank
was
you.
good? Okay, good.
Couple of real easy questions for you to start with, so no one feels like they're being grilled. How did you guys become a band? Like, how'd you meet each other?
Tinder.
Yeah, well,
Tinder, yeah, Tinder.
Tinder. Let's just go with that. I was going to be serious, but we'll just go with Tinder.
No, I actually met
Next
DJ years and years and years ago in Ohio. We were actually both working in a music store selling guitars. And he was from Portland originally, and I was from California originally. And we both kind of talked about, like, oh, man, you're from the West Coast, I'm from the West Coast too. And then over the years, we stayed in touch. And then I wound up moving out here and stayed with him. And we were in a band out there, and now we got the band going back when I was here. So it's like the second incarnation, which is kind of cool, you know.
Very fun. And you added everyone else kind of along the way?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tinder.
Yeah, we picked up Andrew and Nick on Tinder, like we said.
Very nice. For those listening who are enjoying, where's the best place for them to go to find more of your music?
Well, you know, the old Facebook
You
is
can
pretty
look it up.
good, and the old Instagram is pretty good as well. We've got a Bandcamp. No, we don't have a Bandcamp, do we?
SoundCloud.
SoundCloud. That's one of those things.
SoundCloud.com/Antarctica Radio.
Perfect. See, he's a better answer for questions.
I'm just going to turn this way now for the rest of the questions.
You should.
Where's the best place for people to find out about upcoming shows, tours, that sort of thing?
Facebook. Right now, anyhow.
Okay. And Antarctica Radio, where did that name come from? Is there a fun story there?
Back in our first incarnation we had back in Ohio, I was mentioning, I wrote a song called Antarctica Radio, and it was this really crazy, it was like 16 minutes long. It was this really nuts kind of prog rock song that just was way longer than anything we'd ever had before, and it was just kind of a weird thing. So that title just kind of stuck around. We don't play that song anymore, but we thought it'd be a good name for a band this time around. You know, it's just, I guess.
What was the song about?
It was actually about a guy that gets shipwrecked in Antarctica, and he kind of loses his mind and freezes to death, and it's just like dark, miserable, horrible song about his suffering, but yes, that's what it was about originally.
And now it's for the band.
Right.
It's fitting for the band too, though. Honestly,
Yeah,
I mean,
it is.
really is.
We're all pretty miserable people, so it kind of works.
Very nice. What would you like to play next?
This next song is West of Tolovana.
All right, and what's that one about?
That one
He
is
wrote it,
actually.
so-
I'll take the reins on this one. So that one is Tolovana is a little town in Cannon Beach, and many years ago when I was here and he was over there, my daughter's second birthday, we had a little party on Cannon Beach, and I sat out on the sand and wrote that song. That's super cheesy story, but it's actually true. Yeah.
It's a lot more uplifting.
Yeah.
It's a lot more uplifting.
But I also wanted to die, so I don't know.
All right, well, let's hear about it.
All right. trying not to close your eyes. Your eyes.
She's calling me down to the ocean floor. She always leaves me wanting more. Was getting low, but now it's light. Oh yeah. And down below, it's still quite high. She's calling me down to the ocean floor. She always leaves me wanting more. Down below, I know she's waiting, 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 waiting.
This next song is called The Stars All Align.
like how you immediately knew I was going to ask for that. Thank you, guys. So, how would you describe your music? Is it? I mean, there's a lot of different words I've heard thrown out, like prog rock, shoegazy, harder rock.
Worst question ever.
Right.
but-
What label would you
Where to go right
apply on it?
A couple people have told me they thought it had a Britpop type vibe, which I like. So I wrote on the Facebook page, West Coast Britpop could be a new genre that we're pioneering.
We could go with that. Any Brits in the group?
No, I don't think
No.
so. Are you
Alright.
British, DJ?
No.
My family was conquered by them.
Put
Unfortunately,
up on the-
my family was conquered by them. Sorry about that. I keep doing that.
Yeah. So that's okay. We'll avoid the colonization questions then.
Yeah, it's a touchy. You asked that question earlier, but I should have mentioned that because it's a little touchy.
Too
but-
soon. Too soon.
Too soon. All right. Well, let's shift gears then and ask some fun questions. Like, first concert you ever went to?
New Kids on the Block.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I think it was 10. Yeah, it was. I think it was fun. It probably was.
Nice.
Billy Joel at the Memorial Coliseum.
Nice.
Was that a few years ago or?
Yeah, yeah. I just started going to concerts.
Mm-hmm.
He's actually still a big Billy Joel fan too to this day.
Arrested Development with En Vogue.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh wow,
Yes.
that's very good.
Nice.
Fantastic.
Very cool.
You win.
The first big arena show I ever went to was Ozzy Osbourne, and the opening act was Korn.
That's quite a range of music
yeah.
you guys have there.
Heck yeah.
Well, that's just our first show. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I mean, that's just our first show. You know, it's going to be eclectic.
Right. What have you been listening to lately?
Kind of the staples. I'm really into Sonic Youth and the Velvet Underground and stuff like that. And that's usually what I listen to as far as contemporary stuff. Them and like Beach House. I like Beach House a lot. And there's lots of good stuff out there, actually, you know.
I've been listening to The Who lately.
Can't go wrong with classic.
I mostly listen to Cheap Trick, but I also like to listen to a lot of local bands. Give some shout outs to some friends of ours. My buddy Jake in a band called The Loved. They got a show coming up, I know. Since we don't have any shows to plug, we can plug other people's shows. They're a great band. Parson Redheads are a great band. A friend of mine's got a new band called Sleepy House that we played a show with them, and then we went and saw them play, and they're really good. Really liking listening to the new younger acts, you know. There's like a spark of energy that doesn't seem like it was there just even maybe 3-4 years ago. That's there now. That's really cool.
Sure.
I've been listening to nothing but Aphex Twin for like a month, so that's my answer.
Okay, now I'm sure that's not what you belt out in the shower, though.
No, because that would be really hard.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be really hard. I'm more of like a Wham, kind of like a George Michael guy in the shower, I think. You know, Freedom, stuff like that. Yeah.
That's a good go-to.
Freedom Rock.
Well, turn it up.
There's a commercial on YouTube. Look it up, Freedom Rock commercial. You can thank us later.
That record's worth like $200 now too. On that's crazy. You know?
Turn it up, man.
What do you usually belt in the shower or car?
Mostly podcasts. I like to belt out podcasts in the shower.
Any favorites?
Obscure ones that you guys probably haven't heard of.
Okay. Too hip for me.
If I sing out loud by myself, I'd probably sing Sinatra in the
wow.
car.
Look at that.
Frank Sinatra, really.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah.
We're all learning here today
Here you go.
about each other.
I would say big time 80s. I'd say like Tears for Fears, Hall & Oates, stuff like that.
Can you give us a little?
Ooh.
Just do the chorus from
If
Living
you
on a
name a
Prayer.
song, I can come up with one.
What was the one you were saying?
Yeah, Living on a Prayer. Just do the chorus from Living on a Prayer. You got that.
No, that's not.
I don't
After
like
the key
I don't like Bon
change.
Jovi, no.
Yeah, that's not 80s. Any little Cheap Trick you can throw out or Hall & Oates?
Hall & Oates, let's see. I'm kind of drawing a blank on Hall & Oates right now.
That's okay. That's all right. You'll think about it later, and then I'll have you belt it out. Cool.
Record yourself in the shower. and send it
You're
in.
out of touch, I'm out of time.
Out of
But I'm out of my head when you're not around. Like that, you know.
Beautiful.
Nice.
good.
Do you guys ever play any covers during band practice?
Nick actually loves the idea of covers, and we're a little more hesitant, but I'm sure we'll do covers eventually, just for fun. But
What were you playing the other day? Were you playing some Ozzy the other day that we kind of jammed out about 2/3 of the way through?
yeah, I mean, we like to mess around, but it's I always kind of turns me off when I see a band that's really good and they throw in a couple covers. You know, I mean, if their original stuff is really good, you have to be careful about, you know, the cover original balance, I think. I've always thought so.
I don't agree, but that's
Well, isn't it fairly common to start that as sort of a warm-up, though? Just
Yeah,
kind of
it
getting
is.
going?
When I do sound check, I always do covers and stuff. Like, I can play covers. I've always been more of a focus on the original stuff kind of guy.
Fair. All right, what are you going to play next? That's your original.
What are we playing next?
Moonwalking.
All right, let's hear Moonwalking.
It's not an original dance, but it's original song. Garner sympathy. You're holding out like she's the one. You strap yourself in for a long bumpy
This next song is called Politicians.
So your music, it's not your typical sort of like headbanging rock or belt out in the shower kind of rock. What sort of reaction do you hope when you're playing a show? Like, what are you looking for from the crowd?
I would say any sort of interaction would be good. you know, you can always tell when you make a connection with somebody, not only when you're playing a show, but when you're having a conversation or whatever. I'd say I would hope to have the same interaction with people that are listening to my music as I would with people that I'm speaking with.
And forgive me, I'm going to ask you to turn that off again because I can see Lee losing his mind trying to figure out where that sound was coming from. It's a good way to mess with sound engineers.
Yeah. Just kidding.
Did you see what he did there? He just turned and looked at his monitor like, what happened? Now you know how to mess with the house sound manager.
I want to bring down the house.
There you go.
In a good way, if that's possible.
There you go.
Anyway.
All right. Well, let's nerd out on gear for a minute. Talk to me about your guitar.
About my guitar?
Yes.
Well, actually, when Jeff and I were working at the old music shop, I'm not going to give them any plugs because they suck, but
Don't.
and
Don't
they're
do it.
totally corporate asshole jerks.
You're okay with that one. It's not a
Oh, that's a good one. Okay, good.
Watch your language there.
Yeah, sorry. But yeah, so I had not this exact one, but a Gretsch Duo Jet, Japanese-made Gretsch Duo Jet. Had one of those back in the day when we were working at the guitar store, and it was absolutely my favorite guitar. I had it for many years, and I had to sell it to pay some bills and whatnot. Moved back to Portland, many years ago, and just recently, 3 years ago, I was able to pick up another one. But that was all beat up. I mean, this thing is completely. Someone tried to put like a piezo pickup in it. It's just like a total messed up, like Frankenstein piece of crap. But I was able to rip all the wires out of it and make it playable again. So yeah, this is my baby. We'll put it that way.
And how about your fun pedal board down there? You got some fun toys.
Yeah, they're just pedals. Everybody knows about these pedals. They're on eBay if anybody wants to buy them. I'm selling mine because I quit. Just kidding. But yeah, you can buy. There's nothing special going on down here, other than my sweet teal. This is actually it's shelving from IKEA that I spray painted my favorite color, which is seafoam green, and then yeah, that's the most special thing about my pedal board is the IKEA
the
shelving.
actual board.
Yep.
Nice. Talk to
Bingo.
me about your bass.
It's a Fender Mustang short scale bass. I had a PV T40 1979 bass that
Love those.
kind of messed up my hand a little bit because I'm too small for it. A little too heavy for me. I don't know. It was too much bass, so
Your wingspan is.
yeah, it's a little, and it's
It's a
just
long one.
yeah. Anyway, but I love this bass.
The guy from Spinal Tap has the same bass.
It's a Spinal Tap model.
Is it really? Jeez, I didn't even know that. All right. Well, yeah, this is a Mustang-based short scale, so I love it.
Nice. Just made it even cooler. And of course, you have the fancy guitar strap too.
Yeah.
All right, you're up. Tell me about your Fender.
This is an American Jazzmaster limited edition, which is kind of cool because it has a Bigsby for guitar players. You know what the Bigsby is? It's that cool tremolo. So yeah, I'm very happy with it. I love it.
Nice. And you don't have the same pedal board.
No, I have a pretty simple setup. Yeah.
Okay, and finally, Mr.
I
Drumman.
think these guys are being coy because they don't want anybody to like steal their signature sound. You know, next thing you know, everybody will sound like Antarctica Radio. These are 60s Ludwigs, and actually about these drums, I'm really happy to be playing them on the radio today because these drums got stolen from me, and then I got them back 6 months later. Long story short, the Portland drummers community is pretty strong, and a lot of us know each other, and we have breakfast every now and then. We have drummers breakfast, and people kind of keep an eye out, and a friend of mine was looking to buy some old drums on Craigslist, and somebody tried to sell these to him, and he was like, I don't think this is on the up and up. So the kind of phone tree happened, and I got a call from another friend of mine who works at Revival Drum Shop, and he said, hey man, are you still looking for those drums? And so he said, call Kevin. Kevin knows where they are. So we had to set up a sting operation. We had to bring in the police, had to like get them to hide somewhere else. And then I would go down and meet the guy who's trying to sell them and hope I don't get shot before, you know, and then I texted the cops. I had it ready to go so I could just push the button in my pocket. And then they came down and busted the guy and made me give my drums back.
Were you like, yeah?
I was like, yeah, crime doesn't pay, man.
Or
I think
something.
he learned his lesson. I'd like to think that he learned his lesson. I think he's probably turned away from a life of crime. And
Let's hope so, because stealing gear is probably the worst karma you can bring on yourself.
Pretty bad.
I know, right?
It's pretty high up there anyway.
Yeah.
It's
I
bad.
need these drums.
Right. And it's got kind of the, I don't know, deeper sound than what I typically hear from a kick drum.
Yeah, which actually, this is only a 20-inch kick. These drums are just a little bit smaller. It's 20, 12, 14 instead of typically a 22, 13, 16. But the little bit smaller kick actually has some pretty good punch to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you were saying it's actually the wood material kind of gives it that richness.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm told anyhow, is that these are from the 60s, and I think that as the wood ages, it's better sounding. Plus, stuff was better made back then, no question about it. I mean, everybody knows that about guitars, but it's the same thing with drums. These things used to be handmade, and now they get kind of stamped out in a factory somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Although, recently there have been some pretty exciting new drum companies, or, you know, I don't know how new they are, but there's some good handmade kits going out there now. I'm thinking about getting a set.
Nice. Always fun to go with a handmade local thing going on.
Yeah. Well, nobody locally makes them, but yeah, if anybody wants to sponsor me, I will play your drums on college radio.
And plug them profusely.
Yes.
Which, speaking of plugs, I have to thank Sesame Donuts for hooking us up with the dozen every week. They have amazing nitro coffee, and they just recently added to their menu flavor-infused Red Bull, which is a little bit exciting. So thank you, Sesame, for hooking us up.
Thank
We
you, Sesame
appreciate that.
Donuts. You've been serving me since, like 1999, so I appreciate you.
Yeah, they're right across from Lincoln Hall downtown, so anyone needs a caffeine or sugar fix, that's a good spot. All right, what would you guys like to play next?
This one's called Butterfly in the Living Room.
Ooh, is there a story with that?
I'll email you.
Okay, but we'll keep that one off air. Okay, thank you. almost out of time, so I want to make sure you get time to plug all the things where people can find your music, anything upcoming you want them to check out.
Nothing upcoming, believe it or not. This is, as Boys to Men would say, this is possibly the end of the road, at least for a minute.
Are you
We're going
guys
to probably
be
record. We're going to do some recording, and
all right? Any potential albums on the rise?
for sure. Yeah, probably maybe do like an EP, and probably do like a, I mean, obviously this thing is being recorded. We'll plug you guys, and hopefully if
we
somebody's
have
two
plans on
blocks
doing
away,
an
they
EP
can
of
listen.
Boys to Men songs that are coming up.
That would be good.
Awesome.
And we will have some shows later this summer, July, August, September. We were trying to get them confirmed so we could plug them on the radio, but
That's okay. We'll plug where they can find out about those shows,
yes.
which is
Facebook.com/Antarctica Radio would be the best place.
where's the best place to listen to your music?
Probably listen to this. We've got
Or SoundCloud. Right?
Yeah, we've got 3 songs up on SoundCloud, and we will have some new music coming out pretty soon. This is kind of a new band, but as they said earlier, Jeff and DJ have been playing together for a while, and we've been playing a handful of shows, and now we're really excited to get into the studio. And
That's definitely the next step, is to do some serious recording, for sure.
Very cool. Can you do a quick station drop? Just Antarctica Radio. We'll see the KPSU.
Yeah. This is Antarctica Radio. Thank you for listening to KPSU.
Perfect. Thank you guys so much. Appreciate it.